Welcome all you tarnished Elden Lord aspirants out there. I'm about to embark now on New Game 2 with this awesome level 180 character that I just now finished destroying the DLC with. I got all those shiny new weapons, and now I'm coming back to the lands between to kick some ass with my new favorite toy, the Anvil hammer. To get it, you'll have to travel to this forge way over here. It has a strange, Soviet-era sounding name, the Ruined Forge Lava Intake. Then do all that crap you gotta do to get this cement pole down so you can climb up and steal the weapon, which is conveniently left unsecured right in there. Easy peasy. You now possess the most awesome weapon ever made to kill things with. Behold these stupendous movesets. R1, R1, R2, and finally, the flashy L2. Just look at those pointy spears coming up out of the ground to cripple, maim, and kill with. This weapon is made to commit major felonies. It scales with strength and delivers potent fire damage. Just the perfect accessory for any faith strength build like the one I'm using now. It has over 1,000 attack power, and in the DLC area that jacks up to almost 2,000. And that's without adding any buffs or talismans or muscle juice or other enhancements. When I sort my weapons by attack power, this baby outclasses all these other great weapons. You'll then want to upgrade it immediately so you can begin killing everything around you. My goal in this run is to kill all the base bosses with this thing. Also, I plan to not upgrade a single point in this run. That's right, runes mean nothing to me this go-round. I don't need no more stinking runes, I just want to kill and kill without the need to level up. So, with all that out of the way, get ready for the dawn of the Anvil Hammer Apocalypse. Let's see how this first big scary fellow is going to fare with my big stick. As I suspected, all talk, no action. The early bosses offer a preview of just how good this weapon is. You might take some hits while crushing it, but it's a small price to pay for the results. You're like a wrecking ball demolishing crumbling buildings. R1s, R2s, L2s. All attacks can break stances and set you up for succulent critical hits like this. Look at his sad little hand reaching out for mercy. Sorry, boss man, I don't deliver mercy, only certain death. The Anvil hammer was forged only with murder in mind, nothing else. No one's ever used this thing to build things like schools and churches, only shovels and bulldozers to dig boss graves with. It breaks bones, it breaks skulls. Bosses will scream for mercy. Just listen to the sheer terror this guy's experiencing. And all because of me. That's right, I did it. Me and my Anvil hammer. Also, on this playthrough, I'm going for the Ronnie ending. I know, it's a real pain in the ass, it is. I've done it before. But here I am, hooked, hypnotized by this blue beauty. Just look at her. She looks like a movie star. My heart just goes pitter-patter, like some cartoon character heart beating out from the chest. 2 faces, 4 arms, and hands. Who knows what else this hottie has multiples of? Except no toes, of course, but hey, no one's perfect. Getting mixed up with this big hat temptress with the smoky eyes is probably not a good idea. She's gonna make you work for everything, tear your heart asunder and put you through hell until she gets her way. Just like both my ex-wives did to me. Anywho, enough about my miserable life. You're looking at your new wife here, and your marriage in this game is gonna end up a lot like marriages in real life. A pain in the ass, and likely to end up in soul-crushing, agonizing heartache. She's about to lead us on a miserable, miserable ride. She's going to use us like the fools we are. And then she just disappears, no address, no number, she's just gone poof, like my last Tinder date. Frustrated by love and lust, I resume my killing spree with gusto, taking it out on this wild dog. I'm just running amok like a shoplifter in a blue city, knowing I can get away with just about anything in this dirty, filthy town. I clock those Harry Potter wannabes over the head and pound their crazy witch mother to death like a man possessed with a large hammer. I slay her right in front of her own kids. I'm a monster. Minor bosses like this punk disintegrate under the force of fire and steel. And his stupid dogs, too. I bomb them with chemical weapons, immobilizing them while I do vile and unspeakable violence like this to their gluttonous, grotesque bodies. I do my little dance moves in front of them before sending them to the emergency room. I savor each beatdown like a fine meal, enjoying the pulverizing sounds of steel smashing into blubbery body fat. And as I eliminate obstacle after annoying obstacle, all I can think about is my darling, beautiful witch, who I know full well is going to screw me over. Yet I don't care. I think of those 4 soft, supple hands massaging my back after a hard day of boss killing, and a sense of urgency develops deep within me. For shits and giggles, I decide to use these red firebombs I picked up in the DLC. They actually do some pretty good damage for a little fireball. It unleashes 3 individual fire bullets. Pretty cool. I crafted like 50 of them before I left the DLC, just to see how good they are in this neck of the woods. And I gotta say, they're pretty darn good. Ten of these hitting more or less on target has greatly reduced his health meter. Didn't even need the hammer for this one. Fire. It's a beautiful thing. If I could throw fireballs of death like this at folks in real life, you bet I would. But I'd probably end up in prison, so it's just as well. This weapon will just keep on smashing so long as your stamina is high. You'll want to use turtlenecks, spells, talisman, whatever to maximize that green bar. Otherwise, it's just a matter of ground and pound. I like it when the bosses just blather on while I'm slaying them. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares, buddy. Meanwhile, I take a break from my bullying to catch up on my future ball and chain. My heart skips a beat every time I lay my eyes on her bewitching faces. I have no idea what she's even talking about, but immediately she thinks we're, destined for one another. Soulmates.
Thou enter into my service. I am the witch Rani. I stole death long ago, and search now for the dark path, that I might one day upend the whole of it, and rid the world of all that came before. Well, has that roused thy interest?
Oh, Ronnie, baby, you aroused my anvil hammer way back there at the church. Notice how this all means I have to somehow be in her service. Sounds more like a job offering. She comes right out and tells you she's up to no good, but what do I care? I've learned nothing from my previous marriages, and I doubt I'll learn anything here either.
Good. Then I ask we
Blah, 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 whatever. I don't really care, Toots. Then she forces you to meet some of her strange buddies. At least she didn't introduce you to her parents.
What about you?
This Silvius guy, he's just a total prick, but I really dig his enormous hat. I have to put up with his shit until he drops that magic scorpion charm I didn't get my first playthrough, and I'm gonna steal that hat. I go back to see her. And then she just checks out on me. Surprise, surprise, witches! Can't live with them, can't live without them. So I move on to take out my poor choices in wives on this old, retired mariner who's rowing aimlessly about like he's in the wrong game. And then I beat this woman senselessly. I don't even need this charm. Then me and the fellas work this guy over so bad, he doesn't even make it to second phase. The anvil hammer apocalypse can't be stopped. There's an innocent little horse underneath this big guy, but I don't care. Women, dogs, abused horses, the anvil hammer apocalypse simply does not care who falls under its mighty blows. Now that this guy's out of the way, time to go back and curry favor with my gal. Hopefully she's awakened from her stupor. Nope, she's completely unimpressed with my one-phase victory. So I embark on a shopping spree to find her that perfect gift, to see if that cheers her up. And it
was
does.
thee.
It always does.
Not. It is in thy possession, is it not? The hidden treasure of Nokron.
Amazing what a little
thanks.
bling can do to a
Finally,
witch's
all the
cold,
pieces
cold
are in
heart.
place. Ah, but before I leave, I shall.
She gives me this
entrust
thing
thee
here,
with
which just means I'm going to have to go out and do some more errands while she goes off to be, I don't know, with some other foolish
a
tarnished.
strange gift.
She goes on
perhaps.
about fate and all that jazz, but I'm just a tool at her service. I'm always going to be second fiddle in this relationship.
May leave now,
You know, like the vice president.
but brief. But thou gavest me fine.
And she dismisses me like a schoolboy. So I endure some more torture. Open some doors, and then open some more doors, and then climb some more stairs, until I finally get the rune that seals the deal on this witch's quest line and my own future as a denatured, emasculated consort in her crazy world. And it's pretty clear by now this witch has lost her mind, but it's far from over. I next have to transport to the underworld, where I'm forced to talk to a possessed Ronnie doll like an idiot. I mean, who thought this shit up? And then she asks for a favor that involves killing some guy I never met so I can get this key and open this chest that contains a Tiffany wedding ring. The damn witch buys her own ring. She doesn't even give me the decency to do that. What a bossy witch. We still aren't anywhere closer to wrapping things up with Bridezilla. Next, I have to traverse this rotten lake of death just so I can get into this coffin. Yeah, this is just a taste of what your married life is going to be like. Like getting into a stone coffin and plunging over a waterfall of blood. Yup, about sums up my marriages pretty well. After that refreshing cruise, you next have to beat this Scully to death. The Anvil Hammer Apocalypse is just the right thing to crack this thing's skull in with. It lasted maybe, what, 40 seconds? I just love the sound it makes when it delivers the knockout punch. Here you go, buddy. That cracked skull don't look cracked enough. This is the fastest I've ever taken this beast down. But there's no time to sit around and preen. I have a ways to go to track this witch down. After collecting these juicy starlight shards, you have to jump down this hole, that's right. Deeper down the marriage hole you go, you stupid sucker. Until at long last, there she is. The love of your life that you'll soon come to despise. She's completely naked, and you can plainly see she's just a wooden puppet like Pinocchio, only a girl, and way sexier. And so the game forces you into an embarrassing and totally conventional marriage proposal scene, bended knee and all. Jeez. This crazy, messed up world of monsters and witches somehow retains these trite romantic cliches. Despite all the blood, murder, and mayhem, suddenly the game becomes a rom-com. But you're in love and you're stupid. 2 failed marriages have taught me nothing.
I go now to the night sky. It is there I shall find.
So off she goes again, always rushing off. And she leaves me the much-coveted, always excellent Dark Moon Greatsword. So I guess it was worth all the trouble to get here. Now that all that romance crap is over with, it's full speed ahead with the Anvil Hammer Apocalypse. Next up, the Fire Giant. I bust him up pretty hard and pretty fast with punishing nuclear blasts of Anvil Hammer firepower. I hope the big guy has his affairs in order, because he's about to check in to Fire Giant Hell, or Heaven. I can't judge this poor, insane man. For all I know, he's a saint when he's not waiting around to kill me. The Fire Giant eats fire, breathes fire, shoots fire cannons from its fingers, crafts exploding balls of fire, and yet, somehow, he can be killed by fire. Whatever. I finish him off with these little bitty balls of black flame that penetrates deep into his soul and sucks the life out of him. The dynamic duo take their abuse quietly and melt away under the Anvil Hammer Apocalypse. These guys used to be a terror, way back in the day when I first played this game. I thought I'd never outwit these clowns. Well, I have news for you, my fellow tarnished friends. No one outwits me for long, except my ex-wives. They were way smarter than me. It's probably why they left. You just can't keep a good man with an anvil hammer down for too long. That's what I always say. I say all kinds of profound things. We hammered the beast into Phase 2 fairly quickly, and then clobbered Malekith into oblivion within seconds, like he used to do to us, or to me at least, before I obtained this weapon from the gaming gods. That's that. And then it's off to beat up another old man whose big dreams we sadly have to crush. I unleash the great shield soldiers who box him in for me as I proceed to get medieval on his ass. Then me and my hot warrior friend Nephili get to work on our Hulk Hogan wannabe pro wrestler, letting him know his reign as the Big Cheese is about to come to an end. But he's never seen the likes of the Anvil Hammer apocalypse. We soon bring his rip-roaring, foot-stomping career to an abrupt end, and I get one step closer to marrying that wicked blue snow witch of my dreams. As you can see, I've resisted all temptation to level up beyond level 180. And here I am, still there. All right, on to the last detail in the Anvil Hammer Apocalypse story, for which I am sure to win the Nobel Prize in gaming. That's not a real prize, gosh darn it. But it should be, and I would definitely win. Don't let those cries of pain fool you. It's Radagon who's getting his ass kicked here. I gave my mimic the blasphemous blade so he could stick around in the fight longer, while I work him over with the Anvil Hammer. The strategy works like a charm. Outsmarting my opponents is just what I do, man. He falls right into those pointy spears. But my hammer is bigger, harder, stronger than yours, Radagon. Don't you forget it, pal. You never quite know what kind of a fight this is going to turn out to be. Sometimes you get unlucky and it's some rotten RNG, but this is one of the luckiest runs I've ever had. It's going to pretty much stay put for an unusually long time. I dazzle the beast with my Olympic-level gymnastic moves, giving me plenty of time to inflict heavy damage within minutes, including this clutch critical hit that took its toll. It's so satisfying to bring this giant brute to its knees. I wish I could do this to our government, those foolish nincompoops, especially those Social Security guys. But hey fans, don't listen to me. I'm just a bitter old man who sits around all day playing Elden Ring instead of doing old man things like playing pickleball. I'm festering in that old person smell you're all familiar with. Yeah, it's a real thing apparently. It's literally called old people smell. Science is so ageist. Don't laugh, kiddies, it'll happen to you too if you're lucky. Like me. And I've been pretty lucky on this boss fight. Even Nobel Prize winning laureates like myself need a little luck sometimes. It managed to put out just one Elden Stars attack that was pesky, but not too threatening. Its desperate efforts to evade judgment from the Anvil Hammer apocalypse are ultimately fruitless. I felt sorry for the big, colorful guy, but I have a wedding to attend, and he's not invited. And thus, with one final swing of the mighty Anvil Hammer, and this run was over. With a weapon this large, it's hard to escape its reach, and the beast can't jump out of its way. Yeah, well, there's my honey's blue calling card on the ground. Time to get this train wreck marriage underway. I've changed into something more comfortable for the ceremony. I can't imagine a worse ending, really. All right, quiet now, fellas. Here she comes. Look at me kneeling there like I'm some Egyptian sex slave. Man, how I wish that were true. I'm so lonely. I should get out more often, but that would mean time away from playing this awesome game.
The battle is over, I see.
So screw that, man. Yeah, see, I did all the work and all, and you're just gonna step in now and claim all the credit. Uh-huh. You cold-blooded witch. Damn, this gig is just going to suck, I can feel it. You do all the work, put in all the hours, and your old lady gets everything. Gets to boss folks around, even you, the real, true Elden Lord. But just look at those gorgeous faces. There's no doubt who wears the panties in this relationship. But I'm pretty sure I'll find some measure of happiness in those 2 faces and 4 hands of hers, and whatever other body parts she has multiples of. Anyway, that's the Anvil Hammer Apocalypse. And I threw in some romance and wedding as a bonus. Thank me by subscribing down there. You're welcome. Hope you enjoyed it. I had fun. And choose your spouses carefully, my beloved fans, or you'll end up with some cold, icy witch queen for eternity. That's the moral of this story. Or is it, speak softly and carry a big anvil hammer? I don't know. That was way too much excitement for an old man.